Hello students, myself Dr. Sujata Magdum, Assistant Professor in Zoology, KTHM College, Nashik. Today, I'll be dealing with biological chemistry for TYBSc students, and the topic which I'll be talking about is on proteins. You know that proteins are the structural units of life and they are responsible for formation of the structural entity. These protein molecules, they are made up of unique molecules called as amino acids, or hence we can say that proteins, these are naturally occurring biopolymers which are composed of amino acid. Now the term why we are calling it as biopolymers is polymer refers to a chain of molecules, and these chain of molecules as they are seen associated with the living organism or the living cell, we call them as biopolymers. These proteins, they attain the biological function because it is confined to their three-dimensional structure. Therefore, we can say that the biological function of protein is inherent and is seen present in the three-dimensional structure of the proteins. All the information which is required to form the three-dimensional structure, which is because of foldings of the protein, is it's the functional native structure and is contained in the primary sequence of amino acid. So what is primary sequence of amino acid? If you see the lower half of the diagram where there is a chain of molecule, so this chain of molecule is called as the primary sequence of amino acid, where the different amino acids, they are placed one after another, giving rise to linear arrangement of amino acid. Now such linearly arranged amino acid, if it is seen in the chain form, it is actually inactive or biologically inactive. But the same amino acids, when it undergoes the chain itself, I mean to say, when it undergoes foldings and refoldings, it results into formation of a three-dimensional component, and therefore we can say that the molecule will attain the biological activity or it becomes biologically active. Thus, you can say that the physical and the chemical properties of amino acid, which contains the biological information, is actually required to bring about the folding and functioning of the proteins. Now let us talk in detail the structures and the different types of amino acids which are present into nature. These can be classified on various bases. The first basic classification is based on its presence or its absence into the diet. That is, on the basis of nutrition, one can classify amino acids as the essential or non-essential type of amino acid. Essential amino acids are also called as indispensable amino acids, and these indispensable amino acids, they cannot be synthesized into the body of organism, and therefore they must be supplied through the external source, that is through the diet. Hence these are called as essential amino acid, or in simple terms you can say that these essential amino acids, they should be supplied through the diet and they cannot be synthesized into the body of organism. There are altogether 9 such amino acids, that is histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan and valine. The second group is non-essential amino acid. Non-essential amino acids are those amino acids which are not required through the diet. In other words, you can say that as the body can synthesize certain amino acids like alanine, asparagine, aspartate, glutamate and serine, these are not required through the diet. So the organism's diet need not contain alanine, asparagine, aspartate, glutamate or serine. Such amino acids, they are called as non-essential type of amino acid. Then intermediate to them is the conditional non-essential. That is, these are sometimes required to be supplied through the diet, or it is not very important that the arginine, cysteine, glutamine, glycine, proline or tyrosine should be supplied through the diet. Therefore, they are called as conditionally non-essential. It means that only when required by the body, and if the body is unable to provide the requisite amount, then only these non-essential amino acids are to be supplied or supplemented. That is arginine, cysteine, glutamine, glycine, proline and tyrosine. Then the second classification is based on the basis of metabolic rate. Now, what is metabolic fate? Metabolic fate refers to its significance into the metabolism. It means that metabolism, is both the catabolic and anabolic processes. There are certain intermediate which are responsible to either have the forward or the backward reaction, and sometimes during starvation or when there is less amount of carbohydrate seen present into the body, or in other cases sometimes the body tends to convert certain products into the glucose or the ketone molecules, and depending on that the amino acids, they are classified as glucogenic or ketogenic. As the term suggests, glucogenic means gluco refers to glucose. So, if I split the term glucogenic, I have two different terms, that is gluco and genic. Gluco is glucose, genic is synthesis. So, formation of glucose. So, from which source we are going to form glucose? Glucose, is a carbohydrate, but it will be getting synthesized from the amino acid, which is a non-carbohydrate source. Hence, the process will be gluconeogenesis. Hence, we can say that certain amino acids which are responsible to bring about gluconeogenesis, whose end product is formation of glucose, these amino acids are called as the glucogenic amino acid and involves alanine, arginine, asparagine, aspartate and so on. I hope it is clear to you. In simple terms, you can say glucogenic amino acids are responsible for formation of glucose. Now the second group of amino acids are ketogenic. Again, we split the term into two, keto and genic. Keto refers to ketone and genic refers to synthesis, indicating that synthesis of ketone bodies. So, amino acids which are responsible for synthesis of ketone bodies, they are called as ketogenic. Example is leucine and lysine. There is third group of amino acid which sometimes act as glucogenic, indicating they are involved into the gluconeogenesis phenomena, and sometimes they are ketogenic, and such amino acids, they include tyrosine, isoleucine, phenylalanine and tryptophan. Then now we are going to understand on the basis of affinity towards water the classification of amino acid. The amino acids, they are also classified as polar and non-polar by observing their affinity towards water. Amino acids which have affinity towards water or which are hydrophilic in nature, they are called as polar amino acids, which includes serine, threonine, cysteine, proline, asparagine and glutamine. Whereas non-polar are opposite to polar amino acid, or in other words we can say these are hydrophobic in nature, therefore they don't have any affinity towards water, and they include glycine, alanine, valine, leucine, methionine and isoleucine. Now, to have an insight on the detailed classification of amino acid, we'll first have to consider the fine structure of amino acid. Amino acids, these are the biomolecules which are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sometimes sulfur. So here we can say that the general structure of amino acid, it shows presence of alpha carbon which is been satisfied with four different groups, that is the amino group, then hydrogen group, then carboxylic group and the fourth one is the side chain. In all the amino acid, the amino group, hydrogen group and carboxyl group, it remains the same and variation is seen with reference to the side chain. Depending on what type of side chain an amino acid is showing, we can further classify amino acid as acidic, basic, neutral, polar, charged, or you can say aliphatic or aromatic type of amino acid. So now let us go into the details of the structures of these amino acids. As I said, that side chain are responsible for giving us the classification. By observing the charges what the side chain shows, we can classify these amino acid as positively charged amino acid, negatively charged amino acid or neutral or uncharged amino acid. Positively charged amino acid is that group of amino acid whose side chain will show presence of an additional amine group. Why did I say additional amine group? Because as I said few minutes back that the general formula of amino acid is, it shows centrally placed alpha carbon which is surrounded with the amine group, carboxyl group and the hydrogen group which remains constant or same throughout, but variation is seen with reference to the side chain, and in this side chain there is presence of an amine group. So it means that this amino acid lysine, it has two amine group. There is one more additional amine group which gives the net charge as positive to this amino acid, and therefore we can call it as, or we can place it as, positively charged R group amino acid. Same holds true for arginine as well as histidine. The second is the negatively charged group. It is all the same with reference to positive charged amino acid, except to the fact that here the side chain will not show presence of additional amine group, rather it is replaced by a carboxyl group. Therefore, the net charge on the amino acid happens to be negative, and so we can place this amino acid in negatively charged amino acid group. There are certain groups which show no charge because the positive and negative charge of the amino acid, they cancel each other, and the side chain, it shows other components which are not showing any charges, and therefore they are called as uncharged amino acid, which includes serine, threonine, cysteine, glutamine, asparagine and proline. Now this is the summary table of what we have discussed into the previous few slides. This is the general structure of amino acid showing presence of alpha carbon, amine group, hydrogen group, carboxyl group and the side chain, which help us to classify it as the positively charged amino group, negatively charged amino group, neutral amino group, or you can say polar and non-polar type of amino group. Now let us move ahead to understand the classification which is based on finding about the structural variations onto the side chain, depending on which we can classify amino acid as amino acid showing aliphatic side chain. Example is glycine, alanine, valine, leucine and isoleucine. What you can see here is the side chain is showing branching and rebranching. Now you can see that the structure, that is CH2, it is written in red. So this is the constant part of amino acid which shows presence of centrally placed alpha carbon, side chain hydrogen, carboxyl group and amine group, and hydrogen, then methane, and so on. These are different types of side chains which are present. Depending on its branching, we can call such amino acids as the aliphatic amino acids. Now the second is acidic amino acid. Acidic amino acid will show presence of an acidic group into the side chain. So example is aspartic acid and glutamic acid. In case of aromatic amino acid, it includes phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. This will show presence of ring-shaped structure, that is, the aromatic ring is present into the side chain of phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan. Then these are the structures for the polar amino acid. Then basic amino acids. Basic amino acids, it includes large number of structures which wherein you can see presence of dibasic monocarboxylic acids. Example is glycine, arginine and histidine. These are having basic characters. Then the next one is hydroxyl group containing amino acid. The example for hydroxyl group containing amino acid are serine, threonine and tyrosine, where the hydroxyl group is present. Tyrosine of course is a aromatic amino acid but is considered here also under the hydroxylic group molecule. Then these are the disulfide bond formation, cysteine and cysteine. This is the structure for the cysteine wherein SH is present. So it leads to formation of a disulfide bonding which is commonly observed into the proteins. Now these are the notations for 20 different amino acids which are present into the nature. That is alanine, then glutamate, glutamine, aspartate, asparagine, leucine, glycine, lysine, serine, valine, arginine, threonine, proline, isoleucine, methionine, phenylalanine, tyrosine, cysteine, tryptophan and histidine. These are abbreviated even with the symbol, that is A, E and so on. So what I want you to do is you need to go through the lecture, practice the structures of different amino acids and memorize their 3-letter symbol and 1-letter symbol so that we can start with peptide bond formation into the next class. Thank you.